Tommy, I noticed I didn't say anything about you on
I'm aware. I listen to everything.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
What's going on, Nate?
All right, y'all. No drill. Raise your hand. I'll start making our way down. We can talk to Nate here. Luciano, we'll start with you.
Hey Nate, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good. Glad to hear. You're coming off with our probably two best games of your career against Minnesota and Syracuse. How are you feeling about yourself right now? And what would you say is allowing you to play at such a high level?
Just coming out to practice every day. Just practicing hard, continue to practice hard, and try to keep the most momentum we got.
Jeremiah.
Good morning, Nate. Hope you're doing well this morning. I wanted to ask you about, obviously, Tez Walker being back in that lineup. J.J. Jones had got off to a great start this season, leading the team receiving at one point. Then you add, Tez Walker kind of to that mix. How has that kind of opened up things for you? Obviously, you had the game you had against Syracuse, but having those two guys on the outside, how has that kind of opened things up for you?
His weapons all around the field. It just happened to some plays just were designed to hit certain people, and when your number's called, you make the play.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure you've probably seen the video of the one catch you had. I think you ended up down at the one, but at the other side of that catch, Tez had his hands up, kind of signaling touchdown. But just kind of, what does that visual just kind of say of having receivers kind of that caliber both kind of being available in this offense?
It's just confidence all over the board. Just to be able to go to any receiver that Drake wants to hit that play. Just try to be across the board. Try to be open every play.
Andrew.
Hey, Nate, both Drake and Max said on that specific play that was the Tez effect, that you guys might be able to extend your routes more because Tez is on the field, because there's so much attention that has to be paid to him. So tell me what you think the Tez effect means.
Oh, no doubt. If I'm a defense, I'm looking for Tez every play. That boy fast. He has that effect. So if he is double covered, he might get open again. If I'm a defense, I'm worried about Tez.
So what is it like this week, game planning with him on the offense instead of working scout team, try to help the defense?
Obviously we'll have some stuff in for him. But every week is a different approach to because it's a different team. Whatever we see that is a weakness of Miami, we'll try to hit them with it. So.
And if I could add to that, just the idea of game planning with that weapon now. You guys hadn't game planned with that weapon all season, but now you are. So does that take you guys up another notch, 2 notches? What does it do for you?
Oh, most definitely. It's just more power for us, more firepower. Something we want every week.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Adam.
Hey, Nate. How's it going, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I was thinking, I don't know that we've ever asked you, how would you just compare or, assess what, like, the offenses you played in at Georgia Tech and this offense that you've gotten into now? Like, was it a massive learning curve for you, or were they very similar? Like, can you just sort of like maybe compare and contrast like what you came from and how you've tried to learn about getting into this system at UNC?
Yeah, it was pretty different. Coach Galloway allows us to be looser, and where I was coming from, it's just a looser approach, but obviously be in the spot you need to be in at the right time. So I was more, when I did come over, it was more like I was tight, I can only do this, but just to be looser now. So yeah.
Maybe allow for more creativity. I don't know.
Right.
Is that how...
Yeah, you hit it right there. Yeah, just be more creative.
Did he ever say to you like, "Hey, look, it's not that serious. Like, just if you get to where you need to get to, you can do, you have creative license here." Did he ever tell you not to be so like stiff with it?
Yeah, run to the green grass. If green grass, go. And Drake is the same way. Hey, if it's open, go. So yeah.
Thank you, man.
And Trav?
Hi, Nate. Just wanted to ask you one other thing about Tez. Just how did you guys keep his spirits up when he was waiting and thinking maybe he wouldn't be able to play this season, knowing that, he wasn't going to live out his dream? And then what was the reaction of the team when he got to play last week?
Just as a receiver group, just try to keep them as involved as possible. Just check up on them every day. Even at practice, try to give them some looks with the starting just to keep him on the side, just to because we never knew when his number would be called. So when it was, everybody was hyped up. Hey, let's go. It's time to go. So.
And with you and what you've done the last couple of weeks, is this just a sign of you feeling 100% healthy after being a little bit dinged up earlier in the year?
I don't think you ever 100% healthy, but I feel good, every week. I prepare myself to be ready to go. So.
Thank you.
Tommy?
Nate, I guess you had opportunity to see Georgia Tech this past weekend. And aside from the crazy ending, do you sort of watch that game or go back and look at that game and see what your guys are able to do against Miami, and then maybe, factor that into the game plan for you guys this week?
Oh, no doubt. Obviously we watched every game they played this year. I see boys that fly around the field for Miami. I played them last year with my previous team, and they were a great team last year, and I think they're a great team this year. They fly around. Super excited to play a good team like Miami. So
Appreciate it.
David?
Nate, you guys have scored at least 30 points in every game this season, but with Tez back on the field and you rounding in to help, is there a sense that this offense really hasn't even hit its stride yet?
I wouldn't say that. I just feel like, hey, any game, I think we try to shoot for as much as possible. So, yeah.
Adam?
Nate, the Georgia Tech Miami game obviously got very weird at the end a couple nights ago. Just like, what was your reaction to that? Were you watching? I know Drake said he had turned it off because Miami had the game won, so he said he changed the channel. Well, just how did you see all that go down or hear about it?
The game, I think a lot of stuff played into that game. The conditions, I didn't know it was raining. I forgot Miami was open. It was raining. I watched the whole game. They're my boys, so I watched the whole game. I like to support them. But yeah, anything can happen. So, as you can see, so.
Did you jump out of your seat when anything started happening?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see Tech win, but yeah.
Last one, Shelby.
Yeah, sorry. Along those lines, I just wanted to ask, were there any messages or calls made to former teammates after seeing that crazy ending to the game?
Who from me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I told them congrats. The boys I talked to, I told them congrats. Just keep on going. Celebrate for 24 hours. Keep it pushing. Long season.
Perfect. Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nate. They were. You want me to go, Joe? Yeah. Will do.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
Andrew, bat lead off.
Hey, Coach. Chip told us a story the other day about last Friday being kind of a different Friday for the two of you. Once you learned that Tez was going to play Saturday, that you were sitting down, maybe trying to scribble out a few ways to work him into the game plan. Can you take us through what that was like and how unique was that for you to be in that situation?
We Coach Brown said they were making a decision, and, we were sitting in the staff room, watching Thursday's walkthrough practice, and you know, he came in and said, I called him over. We went to Coach Brown's office. You know, obviously y'all have seen that, and then got out. I took him downstairs, and then we stayed in there for about 2 hours just to catch him back up to speed on what we was planning, you know, for the game plan. But, you know, very excited, you know, especially for him, the things that, you know, he'd been denied twice. So, you know, he was very excited. We were very excited, but, you know, we went downstairs and got locked in, and just trying to figure out, you know, some of the basic things that he knew, and then just a couple of little wrinkles that we had put in case he was in, that he would know what to do. But, you know, very excited when you get a player like Tez's caliber to add to the pieces that we already have.
With respect to Nate's 48-yarder that went down to the 1 yard line the other night, Drake and Mac both said that that was the Tez effect on that play. And I just asked Nate about the Tez effect, and he started smiling. So from your perspective, what is the Tez effect, and how does that make that the passing game different?
I mean, just he's a very explosive kid. So, you know, that play, you know, Nate caught, you know, Tez was actually open. So I thought the ball was going to go there, but you know, it was just one of those things. He brings an element, you know, from people that have watched him play from when he was at Kent State. I mean, his speed, his explosiveness. I mean, you have to account for him. So, you know, adding him to the guys that we have, you know, is a blessing for us.
Thank you.
Jeremiah?
Hey, good morning, Lonnie. Just to go off of that, Tez is a guy that you all have had, you know, since the spring, around the fall, as well. So I guess kind of in that process of, you know, getting him ready for that Syracuse game and then actually seeing what he ended up doing on the field, how would you kind of, you know, describe his, you know, transition to, you know, really being out there and getting closer to being out there full time?
You know, he the thing for he's been practicing with us. So as far as just, you know, the timing with Drake, those were the things that, you know, you were concerned about a little bit. You know, obviously he did individual and he would do some routes on air, but all the team stuff. So just timing for him with the whole scheme of things. But you know, Tez is a hard worker, so, you know, and a smart kid. So he knew what we were going to do. Some things we didn't put him in because he hadn't practiced, just some specialty stuff. But just overall IQ of football is a very high level. So it was, you know, plug and place, and he was locked in. You know, I said it earlier. We worked for about 2 hours, and then I went home, and then we talked for 45 more minutes that night just to, you know, catch up on some plays. And I told him, I said, everything that you drew up, you know, worry about that. Don't go back through the, you know, first couple of weeks of plays. Just know these plays. So that's how it all folded out.
Yeah, certainly. And then, you know, you obviously mentioned that he had been practicing, and we know he was with the scout team as well. But I guess in the process of doing that, was that a conversation you had with him, or was that something he approached you about, of, you know, continuing to, you know, practice and being part of the scout team?
The thing for him is, I mean, Tez is a team player. So, you know, to go over there, you know, we had a baseline plan for him, and he's like, Coach, I'm going to scout team. I was like, okay. You know, go over there, and then, which is when you can have a guy like him over there helping with the going against the DBs, you know, it's huge, you know, because the teams that we play have great receivers. So, you know, that was a big pickup for our defensive guys to be able to have to guard him over there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Adam?
Lonnie, how about an Al Seagraves wishbone question?
Okay.
No, I'm totally joking. I'm playing. I was wondering, you know, you're a guy that is regarded as a great recruiter, and just with Nate and Tez and sort of navigating the portal, like when you're recruiting a receiver like those guys out of the portal, is it a different approach for you, or a different just set of things you're doing as opposed to like a high school kid? Like, how did you approach recruiting them out of the portal, I guess?
Just, you know, what we do here, you know, offensively, and the guys that have, you know, since we've been here that I've coached, you know, just sit down and get right down to it. And, you know, obviously coming to the University of North Carolina, you're getting a great degree. Just the setting of itself, and, you know, a chance to come and play with Drake. I mean, that was a huge selling point. And, them being around Drake, them coming and hanging out with us and sitting down talking football, and just the way we were going to use them in the scheme of the offense. So, it sold itself. Not a lot of people get to go play with a great quarterback, and those two wanted to, and we're happy that they chose us.
And just for you personally, I mean, this has been just with Tez being ineligible and all the appeals, just the whole, it's been an ordeal, obviously. For you personally, what was the satisfaction last week when you got the news that it had reversed itself, and like all that you've put into this? What was your, I guess, just personal satisfaction on?
I'm just happy for him, just happy for Tez. I mean, that was the biggest satisfaction for me. You think you're going to get to play, you don't. It goes back, they deny it again. So just the ultimate, satisfaction for that kid that he's, able to play last week in front of his family. I'm sure y'all all saw the picture of his family out there with him after the game. So just that part of him getting to enjoy that, to enjoy this experience being a North Carolina kid.
Thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Luciano?
Hi, Coach. Thanks for your time. Speaking of Drake, the first half of the Syracuse game wasn't even over, and he had already completed passes to 10 different receivers. Obviously, not all of them were wide receivers, but what does that mean for your group, and how important is it that the ball gets distributed that much?
That's just a part of, being in this system to where, Kamari, Bryson, Copenhagen, JJ, Tez, Nate, even little Doc got to play in. So, just being able to having to defend everyone and not, just one guy, being able to key in on one guy. So, and which, keeps everyone happy if they have a chance to touch the football. So, and Drake understands, goes through his reads and who's open, that's where his ball is going to go. And the thing I tell him is, be open on film, when we go back and watch it. I mean, and then, that you're doing your job. If you're open and the ball goes somewhere else, you're doing your job. That's what I'm grading you on.
Awesome. Thanks.
Andrea?
Lonnie, I'm going to ask one more Tez Walker question. Can you just describe what it was like for him for the last month, not thinking he was going to play? I mean, it seemed like it was not going to happen for him until last week, and what your role was in terms of just keeping his head up, considering he thought he wasn't going to get to play this year.
I mean, obviously, just, going through that, for him, just, the ups and downs and, when he first got here in January and, okay, you should be able to be eligible. And then they denied it. And, those processes, for a 20-plus-year-old kid is, I mean, you can only imagine, something that you've been doing and you're thinking you're going to be able to play. So, I mean, just every day checking on them, you okay? The only thing you could control is being able to come to practice, and focus on what you could control and try to have your mind in a good headspace to where I'm out here, I'm getting to practice. No, not yet. I can't play yet, but just, focusing on it and just making sure the guys, in the room, they're, checking on him. He's got a lot of great teammates that, helped in this process to make sure that he was in the right place. His high school coach, Coach Harris, played a huge role in just making sure. And he's got, good family around him. And then plus, everything that, Coach Brown and the school had done for him, people, he saw that people were fighting for him that helped him, stay in the moment for eventually it worked out for him last week.
Jeremiah?
Yeah, a few weeks ago, Mac was talking about some of the true freshman wide receivers and finding different things they can do. I think he said 5 plays that each of those guys could kind of do to, stay involved. What does that look like? Kind of looking at some of their abilities, the things they can do, and just ensuring, I guess, that they can, have something whenever their name is called to kind of get in there.
Just cutting down on not the whole game plan for them. Basically, that's what Coach was talking about, because, they are talented guys and, they put work in and just trying to be able to put them in the right situation. So, maybe not the whole playbook when we're going into the game, but, picking out 4 or 5 things that they do well. And, if they have to go, they have to go. That was the whole plan, before, Tez got back, that, the young guys were going to have to, step in and play. So, it's a long season. You never know when something's going to happen to where they have to be ready.
And then just the development of some of those younger freshmen wide receivers, even maybe some of the redshirt freshmen. I know obviously, some guys came in already in the spring and, maybe a few in the fall, but how would you kind of assess their growth, and what ways have you seen, their games kind of grow since you, first saw them as freshmen?
Just picking up on the play itself, there's a, where'd you go? Okay. There's a whole lot of, we signal, stuff from the sideline, being able to translate that from the sideline to lining up, especially when we're playing fast, and, less mistakes that way. And, them just competing. I mean, every day you have to compete, to play. I mean, and that's the biggest thing is, for young guys, you're the best players, on your teams in high school, but when you go to a place like this and, there's great players here. So, just finding your role. And I tell them all, and Coach Brown tells them all, the biggest thing, the fastest way to get on the field is coming in, competing on special teams. There's, if you punt 5 times, if you're scoring touchdowns, you're kicking off, kickoff return team, find your way and then find your way onto the field. So, special teams first, and then find your way on the field by, just being ready, knowing the playbook and those things like that.
Shelby?
Hi, Coach. Wanted to ask a name that I think was brought up briefly earlier, but about JJ Jones. Somebody that we spoke to after the Pitt game has really kind of stepped into his almost niche this season. What do you think his impact has been in the wide receiver core?
I mean, just huge. I mean, JJ is a very hard worker. Comes in, works hard in practice. He flashed some last year. Now he's a force to be reckoned with. He's big, long to run, has made plays, made catches. Drake's, Drake depends on him to make plays, and very proud of JJ and the way that he approaches practice and the way that he approaches the game.
All right, last couple for Coach. Tommy?
Lonnie, Shelby kind of hit on JJ. I was going to ask about him, but just Mac talked about on Monday, the depth is finally to the point where guys have to play well or they're not going to play. Just how does that play into your wide receiver room? Guys being forced to step up and be good or great to be able to get on the field.
I mean, that's just the thing for me, is just approaching practice like it is a game. I mean, you can't come out and make mistakes and drop balls and not give effort. I mean, and coach tells them all the time that, there's 2 things you can control, and that's your attitude and your effort. So, I mean, you want guys to compete hard, because once you get to the game, it should be easier. You've seen all the looks. You've studied. I mean, if you're studying film, studying the DBs, who you're going to go against. I mean, and then once you get in the game, you already know, all right, this is the coverages that they play when we're in this formation. So it brings it out, and I challenge them every day. I can fix technique. I can't fix your effort, and I can't fix your attitude. So that's the way that you should come out and approach it. I mean, and that's fair. In my opinion, that's fair. I mean, you got 5 receivers in the league. We're blessed to be able to have more than that. So, the best ones play, the best ones that compete, with anything.
Shelby, do you have a follow-up?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to ask, Coach Brown was saying that he kind of expects Miami to come into this game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, given how the last game panned out. What are you expecting against the Hurricanes on Saturday?
I mean, Miami's a great team. They had a big win when they first season started. I mean, we expect Miami, fast, big, athletic, coached very well. We expect them to come in here and compete hard. I mean, they're coached very well. They do a good job. They're athletic. we expect, Miami. I mean, they had a little setback last week, but we expect Miami to come in here and compete like they've always done.
Adam, wrap us up.
Lonnie, sort of along the lines of the depth, when's the last time you saw or you had a receiver room that was this talented and deep, just all the guys you have?
Probably one of the years I was at West Virginia, and maybe the second year when I was at Louisville when we had Lamar. Coach tells us all the time you're responsible for your room in recruiting. So, just try to go out and find the best players that fit this place, and they want to compete.
It just to end it, I was wondering, like, you've been in this game a long time.
Are you saying I'm old, Adam?
I think we're the same age about. You might have me by a few years. No, I just wondering, like, do you want to be a head coach one day or an offensive coordinator? Is that something you aspire to do?
I would like to. I would like to be. It just right. All about that is just the right place, right fit. So, yes. You get into this to be able to want to lead men, and but you just have to be given an opportunity.
So, head coach at Eden Moorhead, right?
Yeah. I don't know if my wife would move back to Eden. And I went to Rockingham, though.
That's my bad. I messed up.
Cool.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank y'all. All right.
Appreciate it. Yeah, great.
All right, gang.
Appreciate it, Jeremy.
Good to see everybody.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jeremy.
We'll
See you on Saturday.
Tyler informed me that I forgot to send the game notes out this week. So
need some game notes.
All that hard work Tyler puts in, and I just said, they'll figure it out later.
Have y'all seen any from Miami yet? Have y'all seen any from Miami yet, Jeremy? Because I haven't seen those either.
Can we get them,